What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are finally getting back into Dark Knights of Steel. This will be issue number 2 of 12, and what we are getting from Tom Taylor is this amazing medieval story, taking us back in time, showing us DC Comics if it were in a time of swords and shields. And with there being many different kingdoms, we have the Kingdom of Storms and the Kingdom of El. And issue number 1 left us on a cliffhanger, with Superman's father, Jor-El, revealing to Bruce that he is in fact half Kryptonian. And right after confessing this information, he takes an arrow from Green Arrow, seeming to be enchanted by maybe a Green Lantern. We see the death of Jor-El. Now, if you didn't catch issue number 1, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 2, we are picking up exactly where we left off, with Jor-El dying in the arms of Bruce. And as his newfound father slowly begins to die, we see the red inside of Bruce's eyes, now finding out that he is half Kryptonian. He has learned why over the years he has been able to survive everything he has. And in this state of anger, he finds a whole new level of power. And hearing the scream, we have Clark and his mother running up to Jor-El's side. As they hold him and they plead and they mourn, we have Batman going out on the ride, going out on the hunt. With Alfred already having horses ready, they're going after the Archer. They are going after the Green Man. Now, as the two of them make their way to Hob Forest, an arrow comes flying out of the woodline. Almost hitting Alfred, we see Bruce grab it out of midair. Now having a trajectory, Bruce knows exactly where Green Arrow is. And with Batman hopping off of his horse, jumping into the woods, he unsheaths his sword and he takes a swing at Green Arrow. With Green Arrow wounded and falling to the ground, we see Batman following after him, asking where he is. Where is the Green Man? Now Alfred, he goes and stops Bruce, thinking that he is going to go too far, thinking that he is about to kill Green Arrow. But the truth is that Bruce has no intent of murder this night, because you cannot interrogate someone who is dead. Now that is what's going to take us to the Kingdom of Storms, the Kingdom of Black Lightning. And we have the Green Man flying over to Constantine. Now it doesn't show us who the Green Man is, but the Green Man tells Constantine that the job is done. Zor-El is officially dead, and that he left Oliver Queen behind, the ring instructing him to do so. And so with this news, Constantine goes and tells the king. He goes and informs Black Lightning of exactly what has happened, that the deed is done and Jor-El is officially off the chessboard. And Black Lightning right now, he is out there training with his family. We see both thunder, we see lightning, but there is one more addition to this family. There is Jacob, and his power set is being able to control the rain. And so as all 3 of the children are demonstrating their powers, with Jacob making it rain, it comes pouring down on top of Constantine. But we see Black Lightning and Constantine go off to the side. Having a little bit of privacy, they talk about what just transpired. Because this act against Jor-El, it was done because of the Constantine visions, because of the prophecy he was foretelling. But even Constantine, he's not sure if this was a good idea, because the thing about prophecies, you never know what leads to them. Their actions this day could lead to the inevitable prophecy that he saw. The biggest problem is that the elves, they have been locking away anybody that seems to have quote-unquote magic. If they are a meta-human, the House of El sees them as possible threats. And because of this, they lock them away down in the dungeon. And Black Lightning, he fears that their kingdom will not hold up against the Elves, that eventually they will come for them. And so not being able to guarantee a future with the aliens living on Earth, he feels like this is the only course of action that they can take. But Constantine can guarantee one thing. He can guarantee that the House of El, they are livid. Now, this is where we pick up in the El Court. And right now, we have General Amanda Waller currently saying that they need to go to war. That there is no question about this. This was an assassination attempt by King Jefferson. Not only was this an attempt, it was successful. Jor-El has been murdered. And there is only one person out there that would truly want this, or would even have the nerve to go out and assassinate the king. Now, obviously, Alfred, he is opposed to this idea. The idea of shedding thousands of lives, not knowing if this is in fact the culprit, when this is truly a fight between kings. It is not a fight of the people, and so innocent lives cannot be spared in this fight. At least not yet. Now, through all of the arguing, our jester Harley Quinn, she chimes in and asks Bruce if he is going to say anything in this. Clark speaking up and saying that this is a family matter, that Bruce has no say-so when it comes to what they do next. Now, obviously, no one else currently knows the truth of who his true father is, and it doesn't appear that Bruce is ready to divulge that information, not just yet. Not only that, Bruce doesn't say anything because he does feel responsible for Jor-El dying. He was sitting there right by his side. He should have been able to save him. He blames himself for this, and so he carries a heavy burden. But Alfred's biggest concern is that this war, it is going to be bigger than anything anyone has ever seen. That all the nations will be dragged into this war. Willing or unwilling, they're not going to have a choice. Kingdoms are going to have to pick sides. And this is something that all of them would like to avoid. At least most of them, outside of General Waller herself, really want to try to avoid an all-out bloodshed war. Now that is what takes us to the Amazon island. Lois Lane has made the great journey here. As she gets off the boat, she is greeted by the Queen of the Amazons, but she doesn't have much time for pleasantries, and she says that she needs to talk to the princess immediately. Being directed towards the training fields, this is where we find Diana. This is where we find Wonder Woman. With Diana seeing Lois Lane, she believes this might be a joyous occasion, being happy to see an old friend, but Lois Lane has come with dire news. She has come to inform the princess that her father has died, because the princess we are referring to is not Wonder Woman. It is Princess Zala-El, the daughter of Jor-El, the sister of Clark. And after hearing about the death of her father, hearing about the death of the King Jor-El, she drops her sword to the ground in sorrow and telling Wonder Woman that she has to go. Wonder Woman saying that she will do anything she can to help her out in this time of need. And we see the two of them kiss. Now this is huge because this is showing us a almost relationship marriage type bond between these two kingdoms. So if the Amazons are going to end up taking a side in this war, they are going to be siding with the House of El. At the very least, Wonder Woman will be siding with the House of El. And so if a war is to come, we are talking about multiple Supermen. We are talking about Wonder Woman. We are talking about Batman. These are not small obstacles. In fact, this is our three. This is our trinity. And this is a trinity stronger than ever because Batman has all of his intelligence, has all of his knowledge as a tactician. And to push it even a little bit further, he is now half Kryptonian. Or he always has been, but he is now just finding out that he has power that has not been tapped into yet, only being used in extremely stressful situations. Now, picking up in the dungeons of the House of El, we have Clark wanting to go and interrogate Green Arrow, and the only thing standing in his way is Bruce and Harley. Now, right now, Clark, He is infuriated. And Bruce and Harley, they're not sure what he is capable of right now. Worried that he might tear Green Arrow limb from limb and they won't get the answers that they need. Now, the two of them, they reluctantly step aside. Now, Clark lets Green Arrow know that he could kill him simply with a glance. Green Arrow believing him to be some horrible monster, to be some alien menace. And Clark tries to relate to him that that's not who they are, that they're not monsters, they're not here to hurt anybody. But this is something that is very hard to relay to people when you have an entire dungeon full of people that haven't committed a crime. You're just afraid that they might. But Clark lets them know that they are not going to kill him, because at the end of the day, the elves are not killers. Now, picking back up in the Kingdom of Storms, we have King Jefferson waking up to a loud, thunderous clap. Not sure what this was, going to check on Thunder to see if it was her, but she comes out of her room and she had nothing to do with this. And so rushing down into Jacob's room, Black Lightning busts through the door, only to find the Princess Kal-El. With her breaking through the castle wall, she is holding Jacob in the air, with Black Lightning screaming to put him down. She tells him that that is the idea. She flies him high up into the sky, with Jacob saying that he is not scared, that he would make it rain inside of her lungs. With her laughing this off, she lets go of Jacob, and we see Jacob go falling from the sky. Black Lightning taking every bit of lightning that he can harness, and he shoots it directly at El. And the princess, she takes that entire blast and lets him know that it tickles. And with Black Lightning falling to his knees, Jacob appearing to be dead, with Kal-El flying off into the distance, our war has officially begun. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Man, Tom Taylor has been knocking it out of the park with this one. I have thoroughly been enjoying this story. Really being an Elseworld story, we're taking and tackling whole new aspects of things. We're making Bruce half Kryptonian. We're introducing Clark having a sister. We have Black Lightning having a son who can make it rain. Learning that this is actually a generational thing that doesn't happen very often. We have Amanda Waller as a freaking general. Wonder Woman is in a relationship with our Princess El. There are so many fascinating aspects to this comic, and this has such great potential to just be an all-out freaking war of our heroes and villains. And more than anything, the House of El is really looking to be the villains in this story, while they don't necessarily see themselves as villains and only protecting themselves against metahumans and magic, as they call it. Now, of course, they have gone the wrong direction in doing this, imprisoning people without even doing a crime. And so by all accounts, the Kingdom of Storms is absolutely in the right to do everything that they have been doing. Would go as far as saying the assassination of Jor-El was the steps that they needed to take in creating some kind of balance. Now, the biggest mystery to this still is the Green Man, is our Green Lantern. Now, he's saying that the Ring told him to leave Green Arrow behind. And so we have to ask, is this more of a crime syndicate Green Lantern, where the Ring is cruel, where the Rings are kind of borderline evil, and they bring balance through violence? Now, it still has not shown us which Green Lantern is in charge of all of this. We can only assume by how much John Stewart has been used in comics that it's John Stewart. But I am really hoping that it's one of our other lanterns. You know, something like Kyle Rayner would be absolutely amazing to see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.